Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it had already started. Welcome to Mystery Mondays, everyone. Please subscribe, hit your like button, and as always, feel free to comment and share on social media. I am sorry I'm making this so late. I had planned to do it approximately at 9 a.m., but as I keep saying, life happens. As I had mentioned, I was planning to do this on the Halifax explosion, which is why I was wanting to do it so early in the morning. I'm doing this in my extra office because my son is trying to sleep and I don't want to disturb him. And hopefully, I can get this posted before midnight so it'll still be on Monday. If not, we'll consider it a midnight mystery Monday, I guess, right? But anyway, so as I stated, um, today I elected to discuss the Halifax explosion, which occurred on December 6th, 1917. So today is the 104th anniversary of the tragic event, which is why I'm talking about it on this date. I'm going to get super hot because I don't have a fan in here. I just thought of that. But anyway, and my phone's about to die, so hopefully I can get done with this. I better stop chatting then, huh? So yes, the first thing, I'm sorry, I first learned about this disaster, as I believe I had mentioned before, when looking for a topic for my historical research undergraduate course, and I became very interested in the Halifax explosion. In 1917, December the 6th fell on a Thursday, so the people of Halifax, for the most part, were preparing for work and school at the time that it happened. World War I was going on in Europe, and Halifax, as a port city, was busy carrying troops as well as relief supplies to. I'm sorry. My phone's probably going to die because, Anyway, I need to get a stand to put my notes on. I am so sorry, guys. World War II was going on in Europe, and Halifax, as a port city, was busy carrying troops as well as relief supplies and munitions on warships. Close to 8 a.m. that fateful day, a Norwegian ship that carried relief supplies to Belgium, named the SS Emo, headed out to sea from Bedford Basin, where it had been moored. And this is between, I believe, Halifax and Dartmouth, I believe is where that area is. Around the same time, the French ship SS Mont Blanc, which was awaiting other ships for a convoy across the Atlantic Ocean, headed up the harbor to moor. So one was going one direction, the other was going the other direction. This ship was small and this ship was small and barely seaworthy, yet it carried a full cargo of explosives, which were stored in the holds as well as on the deck. The SS Emo was significantly bigger and faster than the SS Mont Blanc. When this ship passed into the Narrows, which is a narrow area of the ocean, where the ports are and such, she was moving fast and was too close to the town of Dartmouth when the captain of the SS Mont Blanc first saw the approaching ship. So yeah, the ship was too close to Dartmouth whenever the captain of the SS Mont Blanc first saw the SS Emo, and the SS Mont Blanc was trying to go to Dartmouth so that he could moor there to wait for the other ships. And I'm going to lose my place again if I haven't already. Sorry. The SS Mont Blanc signaled she was in her proper channel, but SS Emo signaled she was going to bear even more to port, which was closer to Dartmouth and more in the channel of SS Mont Blanc. So that was going to bring them closer together. SS Mont Blanc repeated her signal to pass to starboard. She was now extremely close to the Dartmouth shore and moving dead slow, which obviously means the SS Mont Blanc was barely moving by this time. I can imagine how panicked these captains were. You know, it was probably foggy. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. At that time, SS Emo signaled that she was maintaining her course instead of going toward Halifax. The captain of SS Mont Blanc decided to swing to port, which I'm sure he believed would avoid the two ships colliding in the Narrows. This moved his ship toward Halifax, resulting in the ships passing starboard to starboard and SS Mont Blanc passing across the bows of the SS Emo. Even so, the ships may have passed one another without incident, but the captain of the SS Emo signaled full speed astern, as did the captain of the SS Mont Blanc. So they were both planning to go full speed astern, which full speed when you're in that type of situation and fairly close to each other is probably never a good idea, right, guys? At this point, it was too late to keep the SS Mont Blanc and SS Emo from colliding. When SS Emo reversed her engines, her bow swung to the right, striking SS Mont Blanc. The larger ship missed the TNT on board the smaller ship, but did hit the picric acid that had been stored directly beneath drums of benzol on the deck. The force of the impact cut a wedge in the side of SS Mont Blanc and ignited deadly sparks. Now, I was unable to find my actual research paper that I did on this or my notes that I had done because I have moved a couple of times since I did that story, and so this is new information that I researched. So it's all generally the same information, but it's from a different source, and this doesn't have, it's a reduced version of the story that I did for my research paper. Of course, my research paper was 12 pages long. This is like 4, maybe 4.5, I think. But so yes, the force of the impact cut a wedge in the side of the SS Mont Blanc, as I said, and ignited deadly sparks, causing, of course, a fire and then an explosion, hence it being called the Halifax explosion. Since the crew of the SS Mont Blanc knew what their cargo was, they quickly took to their lifeboats. They quickly took their lifeboats toward Dartmouth because that was the closest shore, right? And shouted warnings that nobody heeded. You know, they're yelling, "Hey, it's gonna blow! There's explosives on board!" And it's possible the people on the SS Emo were so busy trying to deal with what was going on that they didn't even hear that. I believe all of the crew of the SS Mont Blanc survived, but one guy was badly injured trying to help someone else, and all of the crew, I think, of the SS Emo perished in the explosion. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's right. Now I've lost my place again. Shouting warnings, yes. The ship was burning badly by now and drifting toward Halifax because of the impact with SS Emo. The ship drifted past a pier in Halifax, brushed against it, and set it on fire. Not being aware of the cargo carried by the SS Mont Blanc, members of the Halifax Fire Department responded fast and began, quote, positioning their engine up to the closest hydrant when SS Mont Blanc disintegrated in a blinding white flash, end quote. Gee, I got way further away. Trying to get comfortable and hold this where I can read it. Anyway, this was the largest man-made explosion prior to the nuclear age. The time in Halifax was now 9:05 a.m. So they first started moving toward each other at 8 a.m. and the explosion occurred at 9:05 a.m., a time that people in Halifax, Nova Scotia remember very well. Over 1,900 people were killed instantly. Within 1 year, that total was well over 2,000 people, and I believe that I saw something at one point that said that there were over well, this tells how many people were injured, I believe, further down. But I believe that I saw something at one point that said that there were at least 3,500 people who were killed. Um, yes, it says right here approximately 9,000 more people have been injured, many permanently. Basically, all of North End Halifax was destroyed. That covers 325 acres. It's a large, large area. Many of the homes and other buildings that were not immediately leveled by the explosion ended up burning to the ground because of coal stockpiles in the cellars, which was used for heat in winter. SS Mont Blanc went from being a 3,000-ton war supply ship to lots of tiny pieces that were blown far and wide. The barrel of one of her cannons landed 3.5 miles in one direction, while part of her anchor shank, which weighed more than a half ton, landed 2 miles in the opposite direction from where the cannon landed. It The explosion blew out windows that were 50 miles away and created a shock wave that was even felt in Sydney, which is a city in Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia, 270 miles northeast of the explosion. When I did this research before, I thought that was referring to Sydney, Nova Scotia, Sydney, Australia. So I was like, I better look up and make sure there's not another Sydney, but there is. I was like, that doesn't seem like 270 miles. So, from the time of impact to the time of the explosion at 9:05 a.m. was approximately 20 minutes. This time allowed several spectators to run to the waterfront to watch the ship burn. They were close to the explosion. Many were children, sadly. Others gathered at windows to watch. Others gathered at windows to watch the fire, which resulted in an enormous amount of injuries from flying glass. Flying glass can be very, very dangerous. That's how a lot of car accident injuries occur. And at least 1,000 survivors had eye damage, eye injuries that were caused most likely by flying glass, not necessarily, but that was a large part of it, I'm sure. Hospitals were overwhelmed. They had never seen anything like this. They were not involved in the war, remember, they were just helping to get troops there and supplies there and such. So the hospitals were very overwhelmed. Survivors desperately needed housing. A bad blizzard hit the area the following day and brought 16 inches of snow, which compounded the issues. I left a word out in my notes there, but okay. Very quickly, relief efforts were started and money came in from as far away, and money came in, quote, from as far away as China and New Zealand. I believe this is all quote also. The government of Canada donated $18 million. The government, I'm sorry, no, that was the end of the quote, was before this. Anyway, the government of Canada donated $18 million. The government of the British areas, British Isles, I guess I should call it, gave about $5 million. The generosity, however, that Haligonians, which is what they call people from Halifax, recall the most is that of the U.S. state of Massachusetts, which I believe is directly across the Atlantic Ocean from Nova Scotia. They donated $750. No, I'm sorry, they donated $750,000 in goods and money, in addition to assisting as volunteers via the Massachusetts Halifax Relief Committee. Out of gratitude for this, Nova Scotia sends Boston a Christmas tree each year. This may be one of my shortest videos, and hopefully I get it posted before midnight. There is more information, of course, about the Halifax explosion, such as all the rebuilding and organization that resulted from the explosion. Perhaps I will be around to cover that next December 6th. You never can tell, the coronavirus, and you just never can tell what's going to happen in life. For now, I have to go because, as I said, or partly because, as I said, my son is sleeping, trying to sleep. Pretty sure he's asleep. And also, it's getting late. Though I'm a night owl, I have to get up early to drive him to work and watch my grandson. So, everyone have a great whatever time of night or day it is in your part of the world. Stay safe and stay positive. Keep sharing these videos, guys, and subscribe.